They've tried to incorporate the heathenistic things in the church. And they followed after heathenistic things because they wanted to be accepted. They wanted to be cool. So we followed how they dress. We followed the world and how they looked, and their hair and their makeup and their jewelry and their shoes and their fashion and how they talk and their lingo, like jive, man, cool, dude, you know. And so you get preachers that decided they wanted to be, you know, cool and hip, so they started dressing down and they started talking and sitting on a stool and just kind of, you know, hey man, let's just chill and talk instead of preaching. See, because we're always wanting something new, having itching ears. Listen, friend, there ain't nothing new. You know that as well as I do. There ain't nothing new under the sun. What we've got to do is stay with the old paths, with the way God designed it. And that's the right way. You don't need new music. You don't need some guy sitting on a box going with his eyes closed.
Amen.
Brother, that ain't right.
You're right. Amen.
Ain't nothing about that right. Nothing about that good.
Amen.
Ain't nothing about that spiritual. You know what that is? Bringing in some of that stuff for the heathen that were around about them.
Yeah.
Well, you could hurt somebody's feelings. I'm sorry.
It's the truth.
If you get your feelings hurt, go to Jesus and talk to him about it. That's all I'm telling you, brother. Go to Jesus and talk to him and ask him if it's okay. Is it okay for me to beat on these drums, Lord? And if he tells you yes, you might want to try the Spirit. Because I don't see nowhere in there where drums are mentioned except for one place back there where Moses and Joshua says it sounds like war down there. No, and they rose up to play. Now the Bible's a real clean book. Now we could update that if we want a newer translation, and I can give you what they were doing. All right, but they became vain. They went about after the heathen round about them and were concerning whom the Lord had charged them, and they should not do like them. And the Lord specifically tells you, do not be like the world.
Amen.
Whatever the world is doing, a Christian ought to turn 180 degrees and go the other way. If the world says this is popular, then a Christian should go the other way. I mean, look at some of the mess that's out there, man. You ain't got to get long on there. And these people are influencing teenagers and children that are in high schools.
Yeah.
Amen. That's why, you know, used to, when I was a kid growing up, and listen, you got a tattoo, that's your business. I'm not kicking it. You got it. But when I was a kid, you know where you saw tattoos? My uncle was in the Navy. He had tattoos. That was a military thing that guys did when they were in the military. They'd go, you know, and get a goofy tattoo. And half the ones, all my uncles that I had them, they were like, I wish I'd have never done it. It was stupid. I shouldn't have done it. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Now, kids in high school are getting tattoos. It's a rarity to find somebody who does not have a tattoo than somebody that does have a tattoo. Now you say tattoos are that. No, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm telling you it's a worldly thing, and God says don't do it. God says don't do it. Well, I've got one. Well then, okay. You got it. Don't get another one. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. Just don't get another one. But the thing is, you see, that's how the world is going. Amen. We follow after the world. Why? Because it was cool. And I told you the story. I wanted one bad. Listen, folks, I love tattoos. I'm not saying I'm talking from a fleshly standpoint. Man, that's a cool tattoo. Man, look at the artwork on that, you know. But it's not right. And you know what I have to do? I have to rebuke myself. Hey, stupid. That ain't godly. Why? Because everybody has that issue. You got yours. I've got mine. Amen, amen. And don't look at me all pious and solemn and you're like, I don't have any bubbles. We all got them. The world will influence us. That's why he tells us about that. Be careful. Be careful. Got to be careful, man. Why? Concerning the things the Lord charged them not to do. And they left off all the commandments of their Lord and made them molten images. Of course, there we go. We get back to the images, the 2 calves, that false religion. Let's make us something. Let's make a religion up. Let's delve up something that we can agree with, that doesn't bother us, that we can get along with and still feel like we're worshiping, but yet we don't have that conviction. And that's what they're doing. They're making these molten images so they can still worship. They can leave themselves like self gratification that they've worshipped, and I'm doing good. I'm a good person. I'm going here. I've got some piety, but there's nothing there because there's no conviction because it's not a God. It's just it's a piece of metal, or it's a piece of wood, or it's a piece of stone. You just go there for an hour and forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. Well, do 5 Hail Marys, 3 Our Fathers. You'll be all right. See you next week.